Hello, and welcome back to another devlog. I've been streaming a lot and also trying to make some stream videos for you guys so you can watch more of what I am doing, but this devlog will talk about all that stuff just summarized. Also, if you read the title, I added so much that I actually created a new demo for the game. It includes the whole prologue and chapter 1 of the game. There are a few UI bugs in the ending cutscene of the game, but bear with me on that as I already moved on in Unity and it will be hard to create a new demo when I am so far past where the demo ends. But anyways, as usual, it has been a while since the last devlog, so there is a lot to talk about. I actually got a lot of feedback about the demo from the game testers and I'd like to address some of those now. First, I know that the game might be a little too hard. I really didn't know how to balance everything because the only player was me before, but now that I see other players play, I saw that the timing of the enemies were okay, but they needed some time to get used to, and they did a little too much damage. Gus and the Chapter 1 boss were the main culprits mostly. Since you only fight them once for now, timing their attacks was a little hard to get used to, as they had multiple different attacks and they did a little too much damage. I saw that one of the testers got through the game in one fell swoop, but all the others struggled with Gus and the chapter boss, so in all upcoming versions of the game, I intend to fix these issues by making them deal less damage. A simple fix. Another thing that I wasn't really thinking about is how the testers would use the special attacks, and how would they know how to use it properly. Newsflash, they had a hard time figuring it out. I had the controls displayed at the top of the screen when selecting a special attack, but knowing exactly how they work took them about 5 tries to fully understand it, which I think is a little too much. So in this new demo and all future renditions, you can practice the special attacks if you go into the skill tree and select practice special attacks. You can choose which color attacks you want to use and it will display a video of a demonstration on how the attacks work and give the max amount of damage it can do so they know they did everything correctly. Then you can try it yourself and see if you got it down before you get into a real battle. Another problem was the display ratio issue, which was a grueling process to understand at first, but I figured it out and it made me feel dumb every step of the way fixing it. First of all, my game can't be played in different display ratios because it cuts off a lot of the game, like 4:3, 16:10, and so on. I didn't know this existed at first, but Unity has an option to only let the game be run in certain display ratios, so I now made it so it can only run in 16:9 resolutions. I also added the ability to change the resolution that the monitor supports. There were a lot of unknowns for the testers for the first demo, as it was only the first chapter. It had only one tutorial, which was the battle explanation tutorial, but didn't explain the colorless holes and among other things like the color spirits and basically no story. But now we can talk about the new things I added for the demo. As I said, the prologue is completed and we will talk about all the new areas, NPCs, and more. Firstly, let's talk about cutscenes. The game now starts off on the main menu, and when you click play, we have a new cutscene that builds the story. Emily was an artist looking for a book that was said to be the key to creating beautiful art. She found the book, but it sucked her in. Now the player knows who the main character is, what they are doing in this world, how they got here, and for the next cutscene, why are they falling from the sky. The prologue is the meat of the story building and explaining how the game works. It explains who the gold color spirit is, how getting into a battle works, how you can fill colorless holes, why being colorless is so bad, and so much more. I won't talk about all of it in detail, so you're just going to have to play it in order to find out. Let's talk about the new locations. First, we have the Prologue Forest. This is where all the story building and cutscenes take place for the player to start understanding the game. After you leave the forest, you get to visit a cute little village on the coast called Brushahana Beach. It has some Greek-inspired architecture, a lighthouse, and a sunset that never goes away. It also houses the main NPCs of this world, which are the Brushkin. You can find them in all of the different colors like blue, red, green, yellow, and more. They have some pretty long noses, so they tend to sound pretty stuffy all the time, and snoof and sniff a lot in their speech. Other than that, there's a boat that takes you to Chapter 1. It is piloted by the best captain we could find. Even though he is a monkey, he is the best. Lastly, there's a new minigame, which is the arm wrestle minigame once you obtain Gus as a party member. It's like a rock, paper, scissors type of game with defending, attacking, and neutral. If you want to see more of how I made it, I have stream videos already uploaded on my channel, which is a cut version of the stream. Also, if you have been watching for this long, you should consider subscribing if you haven't already and liking the video. Anyway, that is basically everything that has been added to the demo. other than some adjustments to enemies and bug fixes from what I got from the game testers. So let's talk about what I've been working on after Chapter 1. The first thing is a new piece of content, which is a colorless dome. After completing a chapter, colorless domes will start to appear in that zone you just completed. These things are a little different from colorless holes, as it requires you to go inside of them and defeat some colorless enemies in order to get rid of them. Finding and filling all these domes will unlock an ability in the skill tree for the color spirit in that zone. It is not required to do these, but it could be fun to get completed as it can make you stronger by getting color orbs from the enemies and also unlocking the new ability. After you beat Chapter 1, the big colorless dome from the chapter goes away, so I needed to add a new scene for the colored version of that scene so it can be consistent. I had to include a new variable in my world data storage script which keeps track of the game state of the game. 0 equals prologue, 1 equals chapter 1, 2 equals the in-between of chapter 1 and 2, and so on. I can also change it so I can have the colorless zone of that scene come back in later states of the game if I want to. But that is pretty much what I have done. When I finish Chapter 2, I want to add the game to Steam as a demo for the prologue, Chapter 1, and Chapter 2. But I need to add a save feature as the game is starting to get a bit long for just one sitting. After that, once I get Chapter 3 done, I want to release the game chapter by chapter. So when Chapter 3 gets released, it will cost $20 to play, but once you pay those $20, you have the full game already, and just need to wait for the release of the later chapters. So once Chapter 4 gets released, you can pick up from where you last left off and continue to play on to Chapter 4. This will continue until all the chapters are done and the game will be completed. Let me know what you guys think about this idea. I thought it was okay, but it might scare people away from buying the game because they might not trust me to complete the game and waste $20. But I want to get content released for you guys as quickly as possible. Should I instead only let supporters play continued versions of the game until its final releases and everyone can buy it, or just release it once it's done with the $20, or maybe split the money for each chapter? I just really don't know. I don't want to scare people away from my game or just think I'm trying to make a quick cash grab and skedaddle. Anyway, let me know what you think, and I hope to see you in later devlogs.